Hello student. So this video is uh, related to the lab. Okay, so in this video I'm gonna teach you again how to interact with check buttons, with radio buttons, and select lists. Okay, so what do we have to do here is design the web page, correct, with checkboxes, radio buttons, select list, input button, and then a text area, right? Remember to display the detail of our order here, correct? Okay, so this is a code. This is the HTML code to display what you wanna do, right? But it's not working, right? Because there is no code, correct? So I create here on click, right, the function try. So let's gonna do that, correct? Script, correct, and then function try, correct, function try. Okay, let's see. We have to display things here, right? Correct. Our output is gonna be there, right? See that? You selected, so we need a variable, for example, message. That correct? I explained that in class, but let's gonna do that. Message, correct? And the initial value for this variable should be you selected \n. What's mean that? Next line, right? Remember next line. So because we wanna append lines to this message, but we wanna append that and we want the lines, correct, of the message appear in the next line, right? Okay, so you selected \n, move the cursor to the next line. So we're gonna have the string in that format, okay, line by line, okay, using \n. Okay, perfect. Okay, now we're gonna need a variable total, right? Variable total to compute the total, right? The total of the prices. Okay, question. What is document that, let me see, the name of my form is 41 dot check component. What is that? Is my group checkboxes, right? Remember, all have the same name, right? Check component, right? Check comp, right? Okay, so now, okay, now if you do that, what you're getting, so you can see that using console that log, correct, save, then you have to go to more tools, developer tools, console, correct, recorder. See that? It's the radio, no list, correct? All the HTML code, more, and also more scenes that add here, okay? So this is if you do that, right? So what happens if you type length? Three, right? It means that you have 3 components, right? Perfect. So length gives you that you have 3 components. So this is an array, correct? correct? This is an array. An array of 3 elements, right? First element, correct? First element, second element, and third element. Okay. Okay. So now, instead of to use the whole path to reference this radio, okay, because this is an array, remember? Okay, so let me see the presentation again. Okay, so when you have radio and checkboxes here, okay, remember, you can use, since you know that this is an array, you can use bracket, right, to make reference to the element 0, 1, or 2, correct? So you can use here 0 and echo here. Look at this, the first element, right? If you type here 1, you see CD-ROM, correct? And if you type here 2, you see zip drive, correct? So this is an array, correct? This is the first element. This is an element, right? In this case, we are displaying the last element. Okay, now it's clear for everyone that this is an array. So I can create, for example, something like this, right? Bar check array equal that, correct? Because I know that this is an array, correct? So instead of to type this long path, I'm gonna type only check array. So the same thing I'm gonna do with the radio. Document that form1 that what is the name of the group for my group for the radio speeds, correct? So now instead of to type document that form that the name, I'm gonna use just check array and radio arrays, okay, in my code. Okay, so now if you wanna interact with a checkbox, remember there is a property, right, check, that is gonna tell you if the radio was checked, right? Remember? Okay. So now, since we have an array, you have to use for loop, right? Less than check array that length, right? Correct? Okay. And now, your job is validate if the first element, the second element, or the third element was checked, right? Okay. So now, if check array, right? Which index? I, right? Because we're gonna use a for loop, right? And the property check, right? So if the element of the array was checked, correct? What happened? If if it was checked, suppose that was the first element, okay, what do we have to do is add the name, right? dbrun, right? Correct? dbrun. Okay, dbrun is the value, right? So that we need to use the variable message equal message plus and append what? We need to add dbrun, right? If this was the first element. So how can I that? So this is the element, right? And now you need to get the property value. So type value. Okay? And remember, you have to use the \m, right? Correct? Okay. Now, the problem is now that you don't know the price, right? Correct? You know that one element was checked, the 0, 1, 2, or 3, right? And you are adding here the correct value, right? So if this is 0, you're going to get DVD run. If this is 1, you're going to get CD run. And this is 2, you're going to get zip drive, right? If the element was checked, correct? But now, inside that, you need to validate which option was selected in order to accumulate the total, to compute the total, right? So again, so now if the value of the element is equal dv run, correct? What is going to be the total? $30, right? Correct? Else if it's cd run, my total is going to be total plus 25, right? And another else if it was zip drive, then of course we are hard coding these values. Later we're going to learn how to use the database to get the proper data and then use more dynamic validation. But at least you are knowing now how to interact with radio button, checkboxes, correct? So this is the if and if this is and for loop. This end function. Okay, so now we're going to be able to detect and compute the total for the radio box, right? I mean for the checkbox, right? Correct? Okay. Okay. So now let's gonna add the logic for what? Okay, we have the logic for this guy, and now we have to add the logic for the radio button. But this is easier, right? Because we select only one, right? So we don't have to do too much validation as we did before, right? But it's gonna be a for loop just to see which one was checked. So let's gonna do that. So for the same thing, right? And what is the name of my array? Remember this one. Less than length, right? And for yep. Okay, and now we have to know if, correct? If what? Stop it here. For loop should be I0, I less than the length. Okay, okay, now it's correct. Now, if the element was checked, correct? This is gonna return true, and then what do we have to do? Remember? Message, correct? This is a shortcut. Instead of to type message equal message plus, so you can use message plus equal. It's the same thing. So you need what? You need the value, right? You need the value, right? Where was that? Here. See? You need the value, right? So here is gonna be the array, right? The element, correct, of the array, that value, correct? And then remember, don't forget to use the \n. Perfect. Okay, so if this was checked, you capture the value for the message, and then what about the total? Total is going to be equal total plus what? Plus what? What can we do here? What is the price? The price could be 200, 300, or 400, right? Correct? So we will have to do another if, right? To validate, the same thing, right? Correct? Here, to compute the total. Or instead of do that, what about this? We have an array of prices. Let me type that. It's gonna be for speed prices, okay? But speed prices. Okay, that is gonna be a new array. Let me put the prices here. 200, 300, and 400. Okay, correct. So if the first element is checked, what is the price? 200. If the second element was checked, 300. If the last element was checked, 400. Okay, so I can use this array with the same index. So what happened here? If the first element, suppose that is 0, right? Index 0. Suppose that is the first element. The first element was checked. If the first element was checked, you need to get the value for the first element, correct? The value for the first element is going to be 3.8 gigahertz, right? And then you're going to compute the total for the first element, index 0. So speed prices index 0 is going to be 200. Perfect. What happens if it was the second element? You get the value for the second element, 4.8 gigahertz. Speed prices index 1 is going to be 300. Bingo. So we got that. We can do that with an array, much easier, right? Okay. So now we will have to continue with which element? We code this part. We code just finish with this part. We need to work with this part. Okay. So remember, for the select list, your job is detect the index of the element that was selected. Okay. So it's gonna create a variable here, item selected equal document that get element by ID. What is the ID for the list? Remember, with list we're gonna use get element by ID and then get the index. Get element by ID. Okay. This is the ID, right? Input devices. Okay. Now that you have that, you can apply the method property as selected index. Okay. So console.log selected. They're gonna see if we're capturing that. Gonna see the console. Okay. Perfect. Because the first one, index 0, index 1, index 2, right? Index 1. Perfect. We are doing well. So now, okay. So we know that we have the index, right? So let's gonna get the value, right? Remember? So it's gonna get this value to append to our message. Okay. So now message is gonna be equal what? So you need to get the element by ID, correct? Document get element by ID, correct? Okay, now you are seeing the list, correct? The list, okay? But what can we do now? We can use the property, remember, option, right? And put here inside the brackets the element that was selected. So we have the index now, correct? Now we are seeing now the element that was selected. I mean, for example, if you click here, correct, you got the index here. Okay, and now what we're doing here is using the option properties for the index that was selected. So in this case, this is index 1, right? So we are capturing index 1 here, number 1, and then using here like the number 1 here, because this is gonna get 1, correct? Okay, now we are using document get element by id, that is just the element, the second element that was selected, that value. I want to get the value, correct, to the message, correct. And you can use plus slash n, correct. Okay, and what else? Total is gonna be equal total plus what? The price could be 0 for this one, 30 or 10, correct? Correct. So we can do another if, else, or we can create an array. Mouse price and put the prices here, 0 for nodes, 30 and 10. Okay, so now my total is going to be equal total plus 0, 1, 2, which one? We have the item here, the index here. So you have to just use the index that previously was selected. You know, you grab the index that was selected, 0, 1, or 2. So you can use that here because it was 0, first element, 0, you're gonna add to the total 0. If this is 1, you're gonna add 30. This is 2, you're gonna get 10. And that's it. So just include the message. Your total is plus total, right? That's it. And your goal is to put the message here, right? Okay, what is the ID for this text area? What is that? Order detail, right? So now you can use document get element by ID, correct? Order detail, correct? And now, instead of to use the value, you're gonna modify the value with the variable message. So you're gonna assign the value to the text area. Okay, just a few mistakes here. Parentheses. Okay, and yeah, now the program has to work. Okay, so I hope this video helped you to understand much better how to interact with checkboxes, radio button, and select list. As you see, we were using arrays for prices, correct? Because this is what we're gonna use later when you pull the data from the database. Okay, so I hope this video helped. Thank you.